just see a black screen.
That's what it is. It's a black screen.
Okay.
It says
No,
default.
there's a drop down at the top.
It says headset microphone, retake audio.
Yes.
Now it's going. Gotcha. Can y'all hear me now? Yes, they say I hear you. Thank you. We good.
Okay, cool.
Bye.
Bye, good night.
Good night. I'll call you later. All right. Hi, gang. Sorry about that. We had to reboot the system and everything shut down.
Two best friends.
Oh, let me see. Had to reboot the system and get us on there so now y'all can all hear me. Hello, everybody. And glad y'all stuck around. We're going to do a couple little fun exercises tonight. This is the night before the live. I do have some great announcements to make. I'm also going to, I think Trini's going to call in a little bit, or maybe she'll join us online here. I don't know how to bring her in because Magni's not here tonight to help me with bringing somebody in on Messenger, so I can't bring her in for you guys. But I can, she can join the conversation. So, couple of things. I will know Thursday. We're going to be group in April. One will be April the 12th. The other one will be April the 19th, which is the day before Easter. I don't know which one of those days that we will have grief group. It just depends. I was supposed to be out of town for April 11th and 12th in Memphis, but Memphis might be canceled. We have canceled with the store we were going to because we had not heard back whether they were having us or not, and it's getting too close. But there's another group right outside of Memphis that wants to host us as well for a private event. So we're waiting to see if they want to still host us. I'm giving them till Thursday to decide. But talked to Allie over the weekend, and we're talking about putting together an event. And I want to know, how would y'all like to go on a haunted serial killer journey on a party bus with a couple of mediums? How would that sound? Would y'all enjoy that? Spending 4 hours on a party bus with a couple of mediums going to different haunted and serial killer locations where there was all kinds of crazy murders and stuff like that. So let me know if that floats your boat, because we may be doing that coming up soon. So I'm working on that one right now. It's going to be a private event. It'll be a private event where we will rent a party bus and have people get on board, and there'll be mediumship readings and tarot pulls and just a lot of fun. There'll be drinks served and having fun. And we're going to go to some different locations and talk about a lot of history and some fun things. So your Sprinter don't hold that enough people, Daphne. Your Sprinter would have been nice. So, hey, Susan. So that's one of the events we're talking about doing locally. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for some friends of mine to talk to about that. I'm trying to see what we could do about getting a bus. I don't know if we can do I don't know what kind of bus we're going to do, but I'd like it to hold 15 to 20 people because we would like to have fun. Yes, we could have dancing boys too. You could bring boys if you like. We can do all kind of crazy stuff if that's what y'all want to do. So I didn't know, but it's gonna be, no, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be mostly like we're gonna do some research, and we're gonna go to some places where some serial killings happened, and do some and also mix in some haunted history stuff along with some serial killer stuff. And so we'll have a stripper pole on the bus. I'll try to make sure I get one with a stripper pole. And but we're going to also do some mediumship readings, some tarot pulls, and we're going to talk about a lot of history. Well, Susan, let me know. Well, have your nephew get in touch with me, Susan, and see what 4 hours would run us on a party bus. So I have him get in touch with me because that's what we're looking at, and so we can put something together because that's something we want to do. We want to do it probably in the spring, and we're going to do it again in October. So we're going to do this event twice. So that's going to be a lot of. I figure that's going to be a lot of fun. And so I just need to know how many people it holds, Susan. Okay, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We just want to have a fun, mostly have for the fun of it. And like I said, we got a couple of, we got to do some research. We're going to try to find some new locations that we've never taken anybody, where there's some haunted history as well as some serial killings, some horrendous, or some sites with some horrendous things have taken place. And we're going to all set, holds 15 or so. That would be good. Okay, I can do that too. Okay, cool. Cool, I can do that too. So I can do that. But I need to learn how to bring them on, Magni, because, anyway, a couple of things. So one thing that's I want to just let everybody know and ahead of time is that my co-host, because of her new job and a lot of her responsibilities, she's going to take a vacation from the series Touch in Eternity. So Alicia is not going to be with me for a while because of her work. And again, I love her, and I think that I want her to succeed and do what she needs to do. How many? Meaning what, Susan? How many? What? How many people? I don't know. We're gonna sell tickets to the event. We're gonna rent the bus for 4 hours, and we're gonna sell the event. So we're gonna rent the bus for 4 hours. So whatever the fee is for 4 hours, that's what we're looking at. And would like it to hold at least 15. At least 15, but if it can do 20, that would be even better. But 15 is great because 2 of us are going to be medium, so that means only 13 people can come. If we can do 20, that means I can have up to 18 people on the bus. So it just depends on how many the bus will hold legally. Because I don't need a seat because I'm going to be standing up working and for most of it. I could sit on an ice chest and rough it. So we would like a bus that holds 20, but if I can only get a bus that holds 15, that's great too. So I'm just looking for something where people can relax, be comfortable. We can serve some champagne or some mimosas. I don't want no hard alcohol because I don't want people too drunk. But maybe like mimosas or some champagne, something like that. And we're going to do a tour of the city and do some mediumship readings and stuff one evening. And so that's what we're going to do. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and take people around so they can enjoy themselves drinking and having fun and not having to worry about driving. And I would like to be able to pick these people up, depending on where they live, maybe near their home, so they don't have to drive if they plan on drinking. I guess I don't know if I can squeeze that in there. I'll have to see. Or let them Uber. I'll see if we can get an Uber location for them to Uber to, so they don't have to drive. We can pick them up at an Uber location. So we just have to talk about that because I really don't. Because if we're going to be drinking and partying and all that too, and we can take some breaks with the music and that kind of stuff, and we can have some crazy contests on the thing, like who can work the pole the best and stuff like that, and maybe have some gift cards or something. That'd be fun to give. I'd have little contests and stuff. So we'll see. We're gonna make it a fun event. So and maybe do a night of trivia, like we do with Misty on that second Tuesday of the month at Ron's Gumbo Shop. We can do maybe some trivia at some of the locations, or while we're driving, do some trivia about New Orleans history and about New Orleans spooky history and New Orleans serial killing and stuff like that, or some of the wild murders that happened in the city, or horrific events that happened in the city. So that would be great. So Susan, definitely get your nephew to give me a call or text me. Is that probably the best way? Or text Stacy, and I'm gonna put Stacy on it because she has the center phone number, and give her the information and she can get it to me because I'm working a whole lot right now. And so now I will send Stacy a text when I'm finished with the podcast, letting her know to expect that phone call from him or that text from him, and we can get that together. Because I would like to do it on either Friday the 11th. Is probably when I want to do it. Is April 11th on Friday, and then if I don't go to Memphis. If I go to Memphis, we're gonna have to move it to maybe Good Friday, since Lent will be over. No, I'm just kidding. Almost over. Anyway, I just think it would be a lot of fun. And I think that being on a bus, and I think in October it's going to be fun too, because we're going to have everybody dress up in Halloween costumes, and then we're going to go out and do some crazy stuff. Okay, so let's have some fun with it. Anyway, so for those of you that have been doing the how many people do I have? And I haven't even looked to see. Okay, I got a few of y'all here. So for those of you who took the tarot class, I'm just going to pull this real quick. For those of you who watch the tarot videos, I want y'all to look at these cards. And I want you to tell me what it means to you, and I want you to tell me a story. So this is not, I don't want you to do this tonight. I don't want you, hey Vicky, I don't want y'all to do this tonight. But every now and then when I do a live, I'm going to do this for those who have sat through the tarot series. And then when we do, and there'll come a time when I'm going to have you read some of these to me, but not today. I want you to take time and think about it. But I want y'all to look at this. So this is, let me do it this way. Well, let me do it this way. This is the Emperor of the tarot cards. I want y'all to, if those of you took the series, write that down, the Emperor. And then I want you to write the next one down, the Knight of Swords. And then I want you to write down Strength. And if you had these three cards in a row, I want you to write down a little short story of what that would mean to you if you were reading somebody. So pick somebody in mind and say, if you were reading somebody and these three cards came up, tell me a little story of what these three cards would mean. I don't want what each card means. I want, if all three were present and you were reading somebody, tell me what it would mean in a story. Not what each card means. I don't want to know what each card... I can tell you what each card means. I want to know the story. So go back to those tarot videos and go look up those three cards. And that's two of the major arcana and one in the swords. And go look at them, and you can see the picture, and you can freeze the frame and look at that. And hi, Christine. And then a long time no see. And then go and see what it means to you. See what you feel about those things. Why would that sitter have those three cards? And what does that mean? Is it about them? Is it about somebody else? Tell me a story about that, because until you learn how to tell a story, you're never going to get tarot. You're never going to understand tarot. Will you be a reader? You can be a reader, but you're just going to be somebody, this card means that. This card, you're never going to understand the story. It's the Emperor, Strength, which are in the major arcana, and then the Knight of Swords. I want you to tell a story. I don't want to know if you know what the card means. I know what they all mean. But I want to know what the story is. I want you to think of a person that's going to be your sitter, and then I want you to tell a story with them. I want at least a paragraph of all that it could mean about that person. What's going on with that person? What did you feel when you were seeing that? What happened? Thank you, Denise. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 15 wonderful years. We went out Friday night to have dinner together, and we're going out of town this weekend for an event. So that's Magnie's working tonight. So that's your homework for those of you who really got into the tarot series. That's offered free online. If you go to YouTube, those videos are there if you want to learn how to read tarot. Those are free videos for you to learn how to read basic tarot. Then I'm going to give an intuitive class, and then I'm going to give a master class. But you have to get into that master class, you got to show me that you can read, that you can tell the story of tarot. And if you can show that to me, and that's then what I'm going to ask you when you come to, because you're going to have to apply to be into the masterclass, I'm going to say, remember those 3 cards I showed you? Because I'm going to show you more than one set of 3 cards. I need you to put at least 3 sets of those and read to me what you sensed. Tell me those 3 cards and read to me your story. And so you're going to have to be selected, hey Chris, to be in that class. And that class is going to be online and in person. So you can, it'll be a dual class. You can be in person with me taking it, or you can be online taking the class with everybody online. So it's not going to be restricted to just in person. You can take it online with the class present. I'm going to have it set up where you can be online or in person to take the master class. But you have to do the work. You have to apply to be into the master class. You have to, because I can't go back and teach you how to read. Like, I can't teach you how to read. You have to know how to read to be in the master class, because we're going to get into more in-depth stuff. So you already have to have the basics down in order to get into the master. When you come out of that master class, you should be able to go to fairs and read. You should be able to go to a shop and read. You should be able to hang your shingle somewhere and do some readings. So that's what the master class is about. So that's why I'm doing this for you guys, because I want some really good tarot readers out there. I really want people who really understand the true guts of tarot. That they're not just trying to counsel people, that they're just, they're not just trying to be a therapist. They're not just trying, they're really able to tap in and predict. They're really able to tap in and see the story and get the true feel of what's going on in this person's life, and being able to help guide that person through situations by seeing what's coming forward and helping them, if it's a good thing, making it better. If it's a bad thing, either preventing it from happening or lightening the blow. Because there are things that happen to you in life that you can't avoid, because it's life. It's life. It's people. We all go through good stuff. We all go through bad stuff. And it's about learning. Well, Chris, that's how you do the master class. So is by, like I said, everybody's gonna have to apply to be in. I'm not opening it up just join the masterclass. You have to actually apply to be in that class. And the way it's going to happen is I'm going to be doing these lives. I'm going to be showing so many cards, and I'm going to have you write down a paragraph about that. And I'm going to show another set tonight, but as I show these 3 different sets of cards, you're going to be writing a story about those cards. Like, if you had a sitter, what would you say to your sitter? Like, picture someone in your head and write them the story. And if you can get the stories without just giving me the meaning of each card, and you can understand telling a story, that will get you into the master class. Okay? And so because I don't want to have to teach people how to read. I want to teach you how to improve your reading. I want to teach you how to tap in to your senses while you're telling that story. That's the master part, is how to do those things. So if you can't tell a story, I can't take you to that level if you can't tell the story. So I got to make sure you're a storyteller first. And I don't mean, when I say so, I don't mean like you lie and tell a story. No, that you can honestly sense the story you can reach into the soul of a person, to the auric field, and you can see the story of their life starting to unfold. And you can reach into those, some people want to call it the Akashic records or the soul history of that person. And you can see the events starting to take place. And so therefore you can help guide that person through those life happenings. But they will know, those events would be identifiable to that person because they happen. And you never know if you're right or wrong until the person comes back and tells you. You just don't. And the only way I know that I was ever right or wrong is when a person comes back and compliments me on what's right or says, Sid, that never happened. And then they come back a year later and said, well, maybe it did. It kind of did, but, you might have been off a little bit on this. But I don't get angry when that happens because I'm human. We're all human people. So, but I look at, well, what did I go back and say, well, okay, I try to remember what did I see? And what did I say? And what did happen? And then think about my interpretation and say, maybe it was maybe I misinterpreted a vision, or maybe it was something I heard, or, you have to grow with it. And that's how you learn your language with the other side. And so it's just how you learn. And so never knock yourself down because you didn't get something 100% correct. You learn by working, and you improve by keep going at it and not getting discouraged. And I'm telling you, the best thing that happened to me was energetics. That improved my mediumship tenfold. Tenfold was energetics. And I will tell it to anybody because now it just comes. It's there. It's just there. And I will teach that full class probably right after hurricane season. I need to get through Touch Eternity this year because this is going to be a great year, and my classes are going to be, as usual, spot on. It's going to be it's going to be the talk of the town classes. Because I got a few surprises for everybody, but they're good, and it's a lot of science in my classes, and that's what you have to understand is that I don't work with woo woo. I work with science, and I work with emotion, and I work with feel, and I work with passion. And so, if you take anything with me, you should know that about me already. All right, let's pull 3 more cards. Let's do a random pull. Ones that I picked those first ones though. See the one I just picked now, randomly. Oh shoot! That's what this next one's gonna be. Oh shoot! This is real random. The High Priestess. You got to remember these because I'm not gonna remember them. I'm not writing these down. You got to tell me what the 3 cards are, and then you got to tell me the story. The High Priestess. The Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Cups. What does that mean? If you got those 3, pick somebody in your mind. High Priestess, Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. So just write those down. If you forget what they mean or you forget how they feel, go back to the video. Look at the symbology of them. Look at the colors in them. Look at the numerology in them. Look at the meanings in them and just sit with it. Sit with those cards in your mind and feel them. Then think of somebody and say, well, what does all that mean for this person? Both positive and negative. And then blend it and say, would this person, if I saw these people, would I think positive with this person or negative? Or a combination of both, because sometimes it can be a little bit positive, it can be a little bit negative. And create the story. At least 4 or 5 sentences, at the minimum 4 or 5 sentences about it. At least a paragraph about it. Now, what does it mean for this person? I know what I would say. That's me. But this needs to come from you. This needs to come from you. And so I definitely want people when they after they take my masterclass to definitely be able to work. You should go hang a shingle. Okay? All right. So with saying all that, Let's talk. So, oh, by the way, Nacho Dead People. The one. Hey, Gwen. Nacho Dead People. There's only a few seats left. I think around 10ish or so. So if y'all want to go to Nacho Dead People in Chalmette, please get your tickets. This past week they wasn't selling it all, but right after Mardi Gras, room, they went. So there's only about 10 seats left for Nacho Dead People that's not this weekend. It's the following weekend. It's going to be at Agave Restaurant in Chalmette. Tickets are selling. So go. The next event we do in Chalmette probably won't be until May. And it's going to probably be way down in Chalmette at Miss Shirley's place. Which one does Miss Shirley own? Daphne, write it up there. It's not the Pope. Because the Pope person hasn't called me, but Miss Shirley called me. What does she own? Type it in, Daphne. I can't think of the name of it right now. Ziggs. She owns Ziggs, right? Isn't it Ziggs? Let me see if yep, she owns Ziggs, but it's way down there. So that's going to be the next one we're going to probably do after this one in Chalmette. And that's going to probably not be till like late May. Well, no. I got so much coming up. It's in Poydras, yeah. It's way down there. So just know that. We got lots of fun things coming up. Yeah, Zig's Last Stop. Yep. That's probably going to be the next, because she called me and she's like, when y'all coming back? I said, I don't know. I'm getting very busy. I'm now doing 1, 2, 3, 4 different circuits of fairs around the country. So I'm traveling almost every weekend to a different fair with the Aura camera, doing a lot of Aura photography and reading a lot of Aura photos. I just booked Missouri. I'm going to Missouri in April, the weekend after Easter. So I'll be in Missouri then. That's what we're going to West Palm Beach to do. Then we're here for Nacho Dead People. But then that next week I'm in Sarasota, Florida. After that with another group. And I just went to Tulsa. And so I'm staying pretty busy with the Aura camera and doing weekends at big events. Which is tying up a lot of my time. Gwen, you missed this, so I wanted to say this to you if you're still on. The grief group will either meet on Daphne, you need to go learn the Aura camera, because if Stacy can't go and Magni can't go, you can come travel with me and run the camera while I read. But anyway, I'm actually trying to teach some Aura readers, because I'm trying to find people who can read the Aura and do the Aura cameras, and I will send them with somebody, with Stacy or somebody, to go to some of these events, and I won't go. And it's an opportunity for you to make a little bit of money, but you got to learn how to read. You just have to pay me a fee for the only thing good about it is I get to fly free because of my husband's job, and so that helps cut the cost. But if we can work something out, we could work out where I don't mind paying y'all something as long. But again, the event's got to make money. We can split it. I'll supply the camera and all the supplies, and then we will, after we deduct that, then we can split the difference if I can find people who are willing to travel and do it where I don't have to go, because I can then go do another time. I can go do another event, so I can stay home and read. So I'm trying to find somebody who can read like I read. Rhonda was real good. Bonnie was real good. But they can't leave for weekends at a time like that, So I gotta be able to train somebody. Stacy's getting there. I'm training Stacy to read, but I don't mind training somebody else. If y'all go to events, y'all can learn to read, because that's what's unique about my aura photography is that when you there are sometimes other cameras or other aura photographers at these events, but they don't read like we read. They just strictly read the color and the auras and talk about the chakras. We can do that, but I give an intuitive reading with using the colors and talk about their health. I talk about their loved ones in spirit, and I show people how to see it in the aura photo. Well, Josie, you need to come to an aura photography class. I do give those. And so the next one I give, you need to show. Haven't you taken one of those, Josie? I thought I saw you in one of those once before. So I do have an aura photography class. And so if y'all free on the weekends, just email me and let me know. And like I said, well, Josie, you need to come take an aura photography class when I have one posted. I'm going to have one soon. And once you learn, then you would be flown, because I got to fly you out to these events and get you and you got to share a hotel room with Stacy. And you and Stacy or somebody or Susan and Stacy, whoever goes with Stacy or Daphne. And well, Daphne's going to be with me. I ain't going to let Daphne go with nobody else but me. But anyway, y'all would be going out to hotels and different cities and working the fairs those weekends with the aura camera. And it's very popular. Like the only fair we didn't do really good at was the last one because it snowed real heavy in the town, so it had a very poor turnout. But we did break even. So breaking even is good when you do a fair, but because you do get publicity, you do get other things that because of the fairs. But the 2 fairs before that, we did a killing. We definitely made very good money the 2 fairs before that. So it just depends. Of course I love you, honey. So yes, I love you because you're special, but I love all people. I do not hate anybody. I really don't. I can't think of one person in this whole world that I dislike. Well, there's some people I don't care to be around, but I don't really dislike or hate anybody. Just some people I'd rather say let them go on their way, but I don't hate them. I don't hate anybody. I can't honestly say I do. I understand people. Like I understand people and why they do things they do and stuff. So, I get it. I try to look beyond what's up front. I look into the soul of a person and see, like I try to understand why they might do the things they do. Because I had to do that. I had to do that for my grandfather. I had to do that for my own father. For me to love my father, I had to look deep in there. Because my father was Aquarian, who they don't show a lot of affection at all. They're very hard to show affection to anybody. They're very different type of love, but they show very different types of love. Aquarians do. True Aquarians, and it depends how they're on their star chart. Speaking of star charts, remind me to tell y'all something. But anyway, that's how Aquarius. So I learned to understand people. I think that's what helps. I learned to understand people, understand, their behavior, like why they might act a certain way or why they might think a certain way. I try to look at, what made this person think this way. And I do that about myself even. Why do I think that way? Or what brought me to think about a situation a certain way? I even think that about myself. So I try to understand things. And it's just, I think my education did that to me, So let's talk astrology for a minute. I want you all to think about where you were in 2017 around this time and think about what was going on in your life, because you should be repeating it right now according to one of the best astrologers in this city. So there's 2 phases that should be dictating what's going on in your life right now. So in 2006 and 2017, whatever happened in those 2 years, you should be reliving in 2025, according to the way the planets are lining up. And that is from one of the best astrologers in the city. And I've ran that circuit through. Now, I don't, but I mean by it ain't gonna be exact. Like, you ain't gonna go work for the same people. You're not gonna have to go relive the same affairs. But emotionally and like opportunity wise, things that happened back then is gonna happen again this year, energetic wise. So the energies of the planets are the same. So remember what I'm telling you, and go back and see if that's true. It's like one of my friends is a nurse who worked for the VA, worked for Tulane, and then she was supposed to go work at VA, but she kept turning it down and turning it down and turning it down. When 2017, she finally told VA, "Okay, I'll come work for you." So she went over to VA. This year, while she's at VA, they kept trying to get him to move to a different job in VA, and she kept turning it down, turning it down, turning it down. And now this year, she's going to take it. Just odd that it's happened, but it's really crazy. So yeah, so the best what I've been telling people, go into your Facebook, and so you can at least go back to 2017 on your Facebook and kind of hit those memories and kind of, if you can kind of remember where you were and what you were doing. And guess what I was doing? A bunch of different shows for me. And I did some with Trini, but I did a whole bunch on my own too. And that's what I'm going back to doing this year. I'm not doing a whole lot. Other than Touching Eternity, I'm really not doing a whole bunch of things like I was for a while. Everything this year is about me, pretty much. Other than Touching Eternity, everything I'm doing this year is pretty much about me. I'm focusing back on me. And so so that's what I'm doing this year. And so like I tell people, this is gonna be one of the best Touching Eternities we've had. We got the psychic artist there. We've got this person who's really phenomenal with healing and meditation that's going to be there. You can have Scott, you can have me, you can have Dominic. Three very, you can have some really good stuff going down. Okay. Are you rebuilding anything this year, Tina, like home-wise? Let's hope not. Let's hope there's no hurricanes this year. Let's hope not. Oh, that would be, yeah, me too, Tina. I was rebuilding a house in 2006 too. While I was living in Dallas and rebuilding a house here in New Orleans. Yeah, I think a lot of us were rebuilding a house in 2006. So let's hope not. But so just think about those things and just see, because according to the astrologer, the planetary alignments are the same. So a lot of people will be, but trying to get my daughter and grandchildren into their forever home. Okay, so there you go. So again, try. Okay, that's cool. So there you go. And you're coming to Touching Eternity this year, Susan. So there you go. So you're coming to classes because you were out for a little bit and you're coming back. So that's good. That is good. That is good. So again, think about what you were doing in 2017 and think, because the planets, according to the astrologer, the planets are lining up very similar. So you should be going through a lot of the same emotions, the same energies, the same thought processes that you did in 2017. And some from 2006. They're kind of lining up very similar again. And so think about, the only thing I'm worried about, 2017, I think I had a stroke in September, so I don't need to be redoing the stroke. So don't need to be doing that again. But we'll see. We will see. So check. So like I said, check your Facebook out, and you can see like where you were in 2017 and 2006, and kind of see if that fits for you. Because I'll tell you what, the astrologer I go to, she has never been wrong with anything. She even told Chinese Simmons that the day she was going to get married, to the day. She literally told me the day she literally told me the day that Magni was going to move out of the house and move somewhere else, and the day she was going to come back. she named it to the day. So, I mean, she's good. Yeah, I had a hit to the pond, Susan. That was when I had the hit to the ponds. It was the ponds because I had the double vision, and I had the double vision, so I had a hit to the ponds of the brain. No, you don't need to bring those back, but you're not remarried, so that won't happen, or those feelings. But you may go through some different things. It depends on how you handle it. Stacy. Susan, since you're here, Stacy, Susan's nephew is going to be calling you with some party bus prices for the event on the party bus. So I need you to get those for me. See how I just did some work with y'all right here online? So I'm glad Stacy tuned in. Okay. Okay. See that? Okay, we'll do. So Stacy, Susan, Stacy. So y'all both online right now. But Susan's on YouTube and Stacy's on Facebook. But so Susan's nephew, I think it was her nephew or her brother, it was a male relative of hers, has a party bus. And I think she thinks it does 15 or so anything has a 15 to 20, but we're going to look at renting that for the event that we talked about, Stacy. Anyway. Just text me her number. No, she's got the center number. So Stacy, she can get it off my website, Susan. It's the number to call for, like when you want to book a reading with me. It's that same number to get Stacy. Stacy holds that phone. Stacy is my scheduler. So she has the center phone, the 504-708. It's her nephew. 504-708-8353. So that's the number that Stacy has to. That's where she books all my sessions. That's the number where she handles all my business while I'm at work, saving lives, And we've been so busy. Oh, I had to move readings tonight because we're so busy. I didn't leave work till 5:30 this evening. Yeah, look, call or text me. She loves me. She takes good care of me. She does. I'm a handful. Ask her. But I'm a good boss. Anyway. So check those. That's your astrology. And numerologically, we're in a 9 year, so it's a year of endings too. So know that. So Stacey, you might lose another relative this year because we are in a 9 year. So this is a year of getting rid of stuff. I mean, it's a year of endings. So it's possible. It is a year of 9s. So in a year of 9s, you lose a lot of people usually pass away in a year of 9. A lot of movie stars. We've lost a bunch already this year. I gotta take these glasses off. Ooh. There's a lot. So let's talk a little bit, since we got Touch in Eternity coming up and we got spooky things coming up and all that stuff. Let's talk a little bit about seances. So I want to talk, 9's my anti-number. Wow. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about seances. I got a few people in here that's going to Touch in Eternity. Let's talk a little about what a seance is and what a seance isn't. And also, let me tell you this. So Kalila wrote me today. And Kalila, there's a documentary, or it's a show. I don't know if it's a documentary. It should be True Facts. It better be True Facts. So there's going to be a lot of upset people. There is a show coming on. It's called Britain's Last Witch, and it's the story of Helen Duncan, who she was actually. She's not a witch. They had named her a witch, but then they released it, and then because she's a true medium, she was phenomenal in physical. Speaking of seances, she was a phenomenal medium, a phenomenal physical medium, and they're actually doing a 4-episode show on her. It's Dark Premonitions, Britain's Last Witch, and it says Stan dives into the case of the medium Helen Duncan and the claims she could summon the dead. It is no claims. She could. She was a phenomenal medium in England. I'm not sure if I'm happy about this or not yet, because she truly was a phenomenal medium, and she should be remembered as such and not a witch, because she was acquitted of that. So she is not a witch. She was acquitted. She is truly a medium. She lived a very she sacrificed a lot for her mediumship. She was phenomenal in her talents and her abilities to bring through people from the other side, to help families heal, to help them have contact again with their loved ones from the other side. I really don't like when people, and I don't know what this show is going to do. I'm trying to see if it tells you what service it's on. It's coming on Sunday. Next Sunday at 9 p.m. And I think it's on the BBC. BBC 3 is what it says. And it's 4 episodes. If you get a chance to watch it, I would say watch it. But if it gets to, I'm not going to watch it if it does anything negative to her, because she was a phenomenal. I got to put my glasses back on. She was a phenomenal medium, and her name was Helen Duncan, and it's on the BBC. Scott knows her family personally. Scott and a lot of mediums in England know her family personally. They have talked to her family. Her grandson is a wonderful guy. Very, very kind. The family's very kind. Was horrible the way she was treated. It was the things they pretty much tortured her. They would, because of the things that would happen around her, to make sure that she was not producing anything, they would nail her down to the floor, nail her hair down to the floor and strap her to the floor. I mean, it was horrendous things they would do to her. And what happened to her, and those who go to seance know about the sensitivity to light. Unless you get permission from spirit, the seance has to be done in the dark. She was producing ectoplasm, and she was creating someone's loved one for them to have a contact with their loved one after they've passed. And the police raided and flipped the lights on, and of course the ecto then goes back down and then goes back inside of her body, causing burns inside of her body, and she died in the ICU days later. You can look this up. You can look it up. There's articles about it online. And she died days later in the ICU. Now, you have multiple people that have slandered this woman. She did this for years. Her work was validatable by many spiritualists, by multiple mediums. Many mediums have studied her history. People have documented, like reputable mediums have documented her work. But once again, her passing was horrific because of people who just tortured this woman. They tortured her because they kept trying to disprove her rather than just allow her to do what she did naturally, because she was that good. I mean, she could use by ectoplasm produce your loved one in full figure right there in the room, where you could actually hold them again, talk to them again, hold their hand. You could have a conversation with them. So, I mean, but she was phenomenal. But they thought it was an act. They were trying to disprove it. So they would do, like I said, they would nail her to the floor. They would just take all her clothes off because they thought something would be inside of them, and nail her to the floor, her hair to the floor. and bond her hands and stuff. So I mean, it was horrendous. But anyway, um, she finally passed due to complications post an incident. If you look it up, you'll hear different stories, but that's through the history of England, the real history, and not what you hear in papers and stuff. That's what happened. And her, like I said, friends of mine in England know her family personally, and so she is now. No, Daphne, she passed. She was killed. Well, she died in a hospital, but it was because of injuries that had happened to her from the burns. And I know this happens because our medium, who I go to seance and see, has had accidents because of lights being turned on when the spirit did not give permission, and the ecto goes back in and burns. I've seen third-degree burns on the stomach, on the face, from those things when those things have happened. One time, one of our medium friends was in seance, and they usually have a tape recorder in there to play music to raise the vibration. Well, the thing that's on it, the cover that keeps it covered, came off, and the light shone and hit the ecto, and the ecto went back in and burnt him in the face. Third-degree burns in the face because it went back in. But then there was a time when the spirit let us put the light on, and I could see the rod open the curtain, and you can see the ectoform in the rod that would usually pick up the trumpets and fly them around the room. So, if the spirit says it's okay to do it, then it's okay to do it, but you just have to have the permission. So, seance is I tell people who go to seance, the closest thing to seance that you'll experience is if you've ever been to the Haunted Mansion in Disney and that ride, when you go to that seance room, that's pretty much what it's like. If the lights are on, that's what you would see. Because there's musical instruments playing by themselves. There's toys going around the room, and there's little spirit kids running around touching you and talking to you and playing, and there's no kids in the room. It's truly, and your mind just doesn't wrap around it. The first time you go, you truly don't believe it happened. You truly that didn't just happen. Your left brain kicks in and says that didn't happen. So what's the difference? Well, so a Ouija board is a talking board. So the Ouija board is a brand name. It's used to create a spooky sense to sell and market a tool. A talking board is what they're called anywhere else in the world, and they're used all the time, and there's nothing evil about them. However, when you come to America, because they're Puritans, that they like to stamp Satan on them, so it's ooh, and it makes it bad, but it's not. There's nothing really wrong with it unless the person using it is evil. But, because evil brings evil. But so the difference in a seance is a Ouija board is moved by energy and by the people. It's like table tipping. When we do table tipping, it's energy that moves everything. In live seance, there's physical phenomena, like there's ecto that forms from the medium. Ectoplasm. I would show you something in a book, but I need permission first before I put it online, because I'll show it in a class, but I can't show it online. It's a book by Scuzz. It's actually a picture of my friend that's the medium that's going to be a Touch Eternity, and it's him, and you can see the ecto coming out of his mouth and other body parts and picking up stuff in the room. So they did it with infrared light, and so you can see the ectoplasm coming out of his. And I got several pictures of the other mediums with ectoplasm that have been taken in infrared light, because you can do a seance at infrared light and you can see the ecto. But we don't do those in public seances. They're only done in home circles, because the medium has to be protected at all times, because you can kill the medium. And people don't realize that when we have seances, the medium can be injured. And that's why you don't see a lot of physical seances anymore. Because one, one, they're done under very strict control. I've been to maybe 25 to 30 seances in my life. They're done under very strict controls. You know, on a Ouija board, your loved one can't come out and touch you. Your loved one can't come out and talk to you. On a Ouija board, in their voice, on a Ouija board, your loved one can't come out and speak to you in their native tongue if you're from a different country. In seance, they can. In seance, if you speak German, your father, if he passed, can come speak to you in German. And even if the medium doesn't speak German, your father will come out and speak to you in full-fledged German. And it'll be in his voice. So, I mean, that's the difference. I mean, and on a Ouija board, you know, you're answering questions. But in seance, there's sometimes more than one voice coming out at the same time talking, and there's things happening in the room at the same time, and everybody's holding hands. And so you're like, that's impossible, because there are trumpets flying, and there's instruments playing, and there's little kids touching you on the legs, and there's hula hoops going around the room, and then there's, I mean, you have to experience it. And then even the first time you go to, you're like, that shit didn't just happen. Your left brain is going to, like, that's not really happening, because you can't, the only thing you can see is the luminous of these things, because things are illuminated, so you can see them kind of flying, but it's not lit up because the room is so dark. All you see is the luminous stuff flying around, but you can feel the kids touching you. You can hear everything happening. Your senses will pick up, and you can see certain things. And every now and then they'll put the lights, the spirit will let the lights come on. Once the ecto is drawn back in, the lights can come back on, and you will see they'll do certain experiments so you can see things. But, I mean, I've seen some amazing things in seance. An example, we went in an auditorium doing one, like a big, big room. And I literally seen two trumpets. And a trumpet is like a megaphone, you know, like a cone. And I've watched two trumpets go up like exactly at the same time, very together, like quick. And you said, oh, that could be somebody holding them, right? But then within a second, they were at each end of the auditorium, and you're like, well, nobody could do that. You know, it's like, that couldn't happen. You know, like they were at each end of the auditorium, and you're like, well, that couldn't happen. So you might like, because the whole time you sit in this, you're trying to figure out how that's happening, because you can't see the ecto. Now, what is cool, sometimes in seance, they'll have it's like a plate that's lit up, and the plate will fly around, and the plate will sometimes land on your lap, and all of a sudden the ecto will form onto the plate, and all of a sudden a human hand will start to form right on the plate. You'll see the spirit's hands start to form on the plate, which is really, really cool. That's cool. And then I've seen things like, you can't make this up. You can't. I've actually seen, like, the spirit will have you go, like, the medium's handcuffed in a cabinet, right? And the spirits will tell you, go in the they'll pick people out of the audience, or sometimes the checkers, they pick two people that are checkers, and they make sure everything is done correct, and they pick them randomly. They'll have the checkers go, and they'll have them like check the medium's pulse, and the spirit will stop it for like 2 minutes, and so the medium will have no heartbeat for like 2 minutes. Was totally cut the pulse completely off, and you're like, what? I've seen some crazy stuff. I've seen the spirit take the cabinet. We were in this auditorium, and it was a high ceiling, and and it was a solid wooden cabinet. And I actually seen the spirits pick the cabinet up, and the cabinet is like a little box with a curtain, and the medium is inside, and they're handcuffed. And the spirits picked the cabinet and the medium up, flew them across a room, dropped them, tossed the medium out of the cabinet, nose down, on the ground, still asleep because the medium's knocked out, flew the chairs off, all of this in about 2 minutes, took all the chairs off of a stage, flew them across a room, circled them around the cabinet, and then popped the lights up. And I was just like, how the hell did that just happen? I mean, I've been to many, and that's probably when the medium that's my friend, the physical medium is my friend, that's probably when he was at his strongest power. We were at a physical medium convention. There was a lot of power in that room. That room was probably had 30 physical mediums in that room. So there was a lot of energy in that room, and we got to experience a lot of cool stuff. That's probably one of the coolest demonstrations of seance that I sat in. One of the coolest. But you can find a lot of those stories in my book, Seance Experiments by Kalila Smith and Sid Patrick. So anyway, because we also do a lot of table tipping, table tipping is more like the Ouija board, because the table is like a plushette, and when it talks to you by the movement of the table. But the table does. I mean, we've had the table fly across the room and nobody touching it. I've seen that a few times. Where the table will fly across the room and nobody touching it, and it'll answer questions and stuff like that. It's like I tell people who come into this field that if your heart is open and you just accept things and you're not afraid, you can't be afraid. The Spirit's not going to let you see something that's going to make you afraid. And you go, and because you have to have faith and you have to have trust that the spirit world loves you. And once you understand that, the spirit world will show you things that they will show nobody else. You will see miracle after miracle after miracle. And I feel blessed. I feel truly blessed. And I think that's why I don't hate anybody. And I think that's why I just love people, and I'll just learn to love everybody because I am that way. I've been blessed with the ability to see things in life that people go a whole lifetime and never get to experience or see. And I feel blessed to have that experience. And some people say, well, but what if it didn't really happen? No, I've seen it happen in front of my face. I mean, I've been at work and I've had an aport fall and hit the ground right in front of me, and witnessed by another person. Y'all know the reading I had where the coins fell out of the man's shirt pocket. No one was like, I didn't have coins in it. I'm like, I know. We're both crying, I'm in a theater. I've had the spirit speak from behind me, and the whole audience, 120 people heard the spirit speak in their voice. I mean, people go a lifetime and never experience those things. So I tell people, if this is something you want to experience, you've got to let go of anger. You've got to let go of hate. You've got to get rid of all this animosity against other people. You've got to learn to open your heart up to people. I don't care if they don't like you. That's not important. Because it's not about how they feel about you. It's about how you feel about others. The way they feel about you is none of your business. It's none of your business how they feel about you. It really isn't. That's their problem, not yours. They're the ones that got to suffer for that, not you. Love you and learn to love others. I tell people all the time. Stop hating on other people. Because if you can do that, you will open your world up to unimaginable beauty. I never thought that I would see the power in children as I got older, but I do now. When I see little babies, I see the power in them. And I don't mean the power of being a psychic. I mean the power of youth, the power of the opportunity of development if they are nurtured correctly. If they're given the opportunity to learn, and they're given the opportunity to grow, and they're given the opportunity to be who they can be. And I see the beauty in that. And I hope that their moms and their dads allow them to be that child and to grow with love in their heart and to explore the world and explore life and allow them to grow. Because there's such a beauty in child because they haven't been tainted yet. So there's a beauty in children. There's a beauty, and I mean beauty in a very passionate way, a very sincere, passionate, because the kids are just, I'm riding on the float this weekend, and I'm just looking at these. I'm just looking at these children. I'm like, how great it would be to have the knowledge we have now, and then to go back to then and know if we did it differently, the things we could change in life, or the love that we could all share and be a wonderful, loving group of people. Think about that. If you want to see more miracles, that's the way to do it. And if you want to be somebody who's tapped in, truly tapped in to your spirit, you gotta let go of the anger. You gotta let go of the pain. You gotta let go of the hate, because all that's going to do is tie you down. Let go of the fear. It's not worth it. Because once you learn that you are forever being, your energy is forever, your consciousness is forever, you will be wonderful. Well, they tricked me, Tina. I was supposed to be on float 16, the passenger side, position 7 and 8, and I wound up being on, I was supposed to be float 17. Then they moved it to float 16, but it still was supposed to be the passenger side, and it wound up being the driver's side. At the last minute, they moved it to the driver's side, and they made me position 6. So everybody that I told I was going to be the pantry wall on the other side, I didn't see anybody that I knew in the parade on Sunday. But I had a good time. I threw like there was no, I thought I was an Endymion. I threw so much. I know. I gave out so many big stuffed animals to little kids. I'm like, you come here. I'm giving them these big old plushies and stuff. So I had a great time. I was on float 16. Yes. So it was a lot of fun. So, because kids are your future. Kids are what's going to save the planet. Know that. And we have to prepare them for that. So they're the ones who are going to have to keep this planet going. We're not going to be here to see it, so we got to make sure it's safe for them. Because I don't want them to feel any pain or any discord or any fear or any hate. Because there's a lot of miracles out there, trust me. And I kind of think that I do believe the energy is shifting. I do think that. I think that's why I don't think it's. I think there's more to I know you're hearing a lot about global warming, and I know that some people believe in it, some people don't believe in it. I do think there is truth to that, but I also believe too that there is some truth into the poles are shifting a little bit. I don't know that for a fact, so I'll make that disclaimer. I don't necessarily know that's a fact, but I do believe that that's possibly a little bit. I think there might be a little bit of difference in the tilt of the Earth or something like that from the rotation. I don't know, but I think that might also be affecting the weather some, a bit. I don't know how. Like I said, again, I don't think that's how much truth is, but I have read a little bit about, they think that's kind of what happened back in the day when they had the big freeze and the fire, that the Earth had tilted a little bit and it changed the weather drastically. And then of course, then it adapts and it resettles and stuff. I think that might be happening again. I've heard different things about that. I don't know how true any of that is. I'm going to make that disclaimer now, but it wouldn't surprise me. Because we've had a lot of really strange weather events over, the last, and I know there is some global warming because of what we've done with the air and the pollution and all that kind of stuff. But I also think that there's a little more to it. I think there's been a little extra help. We have seen more sunspots. That's why we've had some I know that's a fact because we've had some computer glitches and some computer issues because of the sunspots. So I know that's going on as well. And that could also cause probably some weather stuff as well. So I'm hoping to offset that. Yes, Mother Nature's going through a change of life, is absolutely. And so I am. I'm worried about our children for tomorrow. I'm worried about my grandbabies because I got some beautiful grandbabies that I'm worried about, and they're all girls, and so I worry about them. I worry I don't worry about them, I worry for them. Let's say it that way. That I want them to have opportunity, and I want them to have a safe place to lay their head, and I want, I want those things for them, and so I'm hoping they're able to obtain that. If not, I will move them. That's plan B. You never fear, have a plan. That's what I tell people. Don't fear things, just have a plan. Just have a plan. And sometimes I have 3 plans. And a lot of my friends, like my friend Daphne, can tell you that Sid has usually 2 or 3 plans. If one thing don't work, we move into the next. That don't work, we move into the next one. She can tell you that. When we planned Nacho Dead People, Daphne, how many places we looked at for Nacho Dead People before we found the place we did it at? We went to about 3 or 4 places we checked out before we finally picked the Nacho Dead People place for Chalmette. We were looking for a place in Chalmette. We went to like 4 different places before we picked the Nacho Dead People place. So, let me do another card pull for anybody that signed in a little later, and if not, you can pick it as another one for yourself. Let's do a shuffle. I'm going to do another couple. Tomorrow night, I'm hoping to get a bunch. If I get 10 people tomorrow night, I'm going to do some more reading. See, y'all get me 10 people, I'll read. I got to call y'all friends tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Yes, Agave. Agave Restaurant is at 2 p.m. next Saturday. Not this Saturday, next Saturday. That's the 28th or 29th? Saturday. Now I got to look. Today's the... This Saturday is the 4th? No. This Saturday is the... So you asking me a date. It's not this Saturday, it's next Saturday. I think it's the 29th. And it's at 2 p.m. at Agave. And come dress in colorful attire. If you got maracas or bongos or anything Mexican, please, maracas, bring it. We have fun at this event. I'm even bringing music to this event. What is it with the aces tonight? Y'all notice? Look, we got another ace, a different ace. Ace of Pentacles. I've been pulling a lot of aces tonight. That's kind of weird. All these cards, I'm pulling all these aces. Maybe I need to go gambling, Daphne. That's my gambling cards. Ace of Pentacles. Queen of Wands. And the Magician. Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and the Magician. Mark y'all bingo cards. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe I have to do tarot bingo. No, I'm just kidding. She's like, let's go. I love it. Anyway, guys. So, does everybody know what an A-port is? I remember I mentioned those a minute ago. So an A-port is the opposite of a D-port. So we all know what D-port is, because God knows that's all we talking about now is D-port. 5 aces, 1 big money years ago. That would be nice. So A-port is the opposite of D-port. So we all know what D-port is, because that's all we talk about today is who we're going to deport. So D-port is when something goes out, and A-port is when something comes in. So an A-portation in a seance is when something comes out of nowhere, comes in from out of nowhere. And so we always hope for A-portation. So when you go to a seance, okay, you always checked for any, you can't have anything in your pockets. If you wear glasses, they'll let you keep them on. But they make a note of it. They don't let you bring any jewelry. You can't wear any jewelry when you go in unless it's something like, if it's a ring, they will, and you can't get it off your finger, they will tape it. If you have like a belly button ring or something like that, they may tape it, or they may make you tuck your shirt in or something like that. If you have a piercing that's in your somewhere where, you know what I mean, one of them like Prince Albert's or something, they're probably not going to make you take it out, but they're going to make it stay in your pants. You know what I mean? And it's because they will search you and you will get wanded. When you go into a seance, it's worse than going through TSA, because you get You got, first of all, you go in with hardly anything on but the bare minimal. No shoes. They will let you wear socks, but no shoes. You are patted down from head to toe. You are wanded. Nothing metal is allowed in. They do not allow any, like, they really don't want you to wear any jewelry. So if you have jewelry, you have to disclose what you have on. And if it's something you cannot remove, they will usually tape it to your body. And then once you're patted down, you will go pick a number, because you don't get to sit by your friend. They're done under very strict circumstances. You will, under very strict conditions, and then you will go pick a number and you go find the seat that correlates with that number, and you sit in. That's your seat for the seance. You don't get to pick your seat. The only people that get a set seat are the checkers, who check the room and check the medium, and that's picked randomly at the pre-talk. There's a pre-talk. At the pre-talk, they will randomly pick 2 people to check the room and check the medium and be the checkers. They'll get a selected seat, and the protectors. And there's 2 protectors. So there's the medium cabinet that sits in the middle. Then there's the protectors that sit on each side of the cabinet, and then the checkers. Then everybody else's seats are numbered, unless there's like a handicapped person, or somebody needs a wheelchair, or if there's a special condition, they might put one chair somewhere for like somebody for a special condition, but that would be it. Other than that, everybody has to pick a number, and then and that's where you sit for the seance. There are really no bad seats for a seance, because you never know what's going to happen. And everybody, so what happens is, before everybody starts coming in, the checkers go in, they check the room, they check the medium, they wand everything, then they'll bring everybody in, and then they check everybody, then they handcuff, to use zip ties, and they zip tie the medium to the chair. When they snip it, they measure it and count to make, so if the medium would pull out of the zip tie, they can tell. They do it to the feet and the legs. And he's zip tied to a chair, and he's inside the cabinet, and then they close the curtain. There is a tape recorder in a bag, because they will tape the seance. And then there's a music box on the side where they'll play music to help raise the vibration. And so during the whole thing, you will sing, and you will pray, do all kind of stuff. So anyway, so for the first 4 songs, you just sit regular, and you just let that play. And that's the time where the medium goes down into the trance state. So it's 4 songs that'll play while the medium is going down into the trance states. After the 4 songs, we'll start to sing, and sometimes we'll say a prayer and then we'll sing, but that'll happen. And the minute we hear the doorkeeper, who is the one that's coming, his doorkeeper's name is Daniel. You'll hear the voice in the box. You'll hear the voice come out of the box, and then you'll hear Darren say, "Hold hands," and everybody will hold hands, because that means stuff's about to start happening and getting real. And so everybody's holding hands. And that's to prove to you that there's nobody walking around in this room, because the medium is handcuffed, and you're always holding the protect. So like the people who are the checkers, they're always holding both of our hands. Like if I'm a protector and Darren's a protector, or whoever the 2 protectors are, the checkers are always holding our hands when the lights are out. So they know where our hands are. Also, we're not fooling with stuff. And if we ever break it, we're telling you why we're breaking it and where our hands go. And like if Darren has to put the music on, he'll say, "I am breaking loose to change the music." So you know what's happening at all times. And so that's kind of how a seance goes. And then you sing. And then when the minute you start hearing the spirits come out, we'll lower our voice and they'll talk to you. The spirits will start talking to you. Then they'll have you sing, and then they'll come out and they'll play with you. They'll come touch you. They'll talk to you sometimes. They want you to interact. So you have to talk back to them. You tell them, "Welcome, hi, how you doing? oh, thank you. If they sometimes they'll come touch on them and say, thank you for touching me, or you'll talk to them, you'll interact with the spirit team. Sometimes it's a little kid. I remember we have one lady who comes to a lot of seances. She has a prosthetic leg. The kids don't know what that is. You know, little spirit kids, they'll come tap on her little leg, a couple little hands will come tap on her leg, and they're like playing with her prosthetic, and they're like, so it's just you have to experience to understand it. I mean, it's weird. They can look, it's more than one, and they'll come play with the toys. You'll hear like xylophone playing, you'll hear drums playing, you'll hear tambourines going, you'll see all kind of things happening at the same time, and then his doorkeeper is Daniel, and Daniel will come talk to you. They'll do some experiments with the medium that's asleep in the cabinet, and I've seen all kind of stuff happen. You have to experience it to understand it, and then things start moving and flying, and one time they put a tennis racket right through the medium's body. I mean, I've seen that. I mean, seen all kind of stuff. So, oh. Hey, it's Trenny. Say hello, Trenny. We're online.
Hi.
You can hear her? Say hi again.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear. Okay, I think they can hear you. So we're online talking. So I just wanted to tell you that Tennessee, I did not hear back from. So I told them that I canceled. Okay.
Okay.
I did write the other group in Tennessee, and told them if they need to let us know by Thursday if we're going to go.
Okay.
And so if I don't hear from them on Thursday, I guess we're not. But I am trying to plan something else. Do you want to come to New Orleans that weekend? Or are you going to do something else? Daphne says hello, Trenny.
Hello.
Kim says hi, Trenny. Kim says hi.
What are you doing live on the...
We're just chit chatting. I'm on my live one of my lives this isn't my regular. I'm just doing the night before. So one event that I'm looking at doing, and again I don't. And it's up to you. If you can't, that's fine. But if you want to, I'm thinking about maybe renting a party bus. And kind of going to like some haunted places or some serial killer places and doing some readings and partying on the party bus.
That sounds like fun.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
I mean, I don't know how, I don't know if, it depends what it's all going to cost us, but I mean, I don't.
Right.
But I'm going to do it anyway because I think it's going to be a fun night out regardless.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think if I got a 4-hour event, just go out and get the bus for 4 hours and go. We're going to have a stripper pole on there. We have a stripper pole contest, and
oh my God.
who can be the biggest fool on the stripper pole? And
I vote Allie.
You vote Allie. Well, this was Allie's idea. Speaking of that, you must see how psychic you are.
There we go. There we go.
That was Allie. This whole thing was Allie's idea.
That's hilarious.
So, Tina says congratulations on the new grandchild.
Thank you. I'm so tired. My daughter-in-law got put in the hospital last night. And I had to go over there at 11 o'clock last night, and I didn't go to bed till like 6 in the morning. I had a 10-day-old and a 15-month-old.
Oh Lord.
And I'm so tired. Oh my gosh. Yes, she had to have an emergency appendectomy.
Oh.
Yeah. So 10 days after giving birth.
I know. Well, that'll do it.
Yep.
So
crazy.
I thought that would be much more fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
So I will let you know Thursday. I told the other person in Memphis they ought to let me know by Thursday, and that if they don't, so I'll let you know by Thursday.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, love. I love you.
All
And
right.
Tina says so sorry about the appendectomy.
Oh yeah, she's good now. She's supposed to go home tonight, and
Good.
yeah, I can't wait to go to bed.
Well, go get you some sleep. I love you, and call me Thursday, love.
Okay. All right.
All right. Bye. All right. So, there we go. Anyway, everybody has newborns. I have a newborn in my family who is high risk, so it's still in the NICU, and we're doing sending a lot of prayers and a lot of love, and so we have a newborn in our family, but born very early, was 2 pounds 11 ounces, so it's touch and go. But we're sending a lot of love over there and sending a lot of prayers. So we're going to see what's going to happen. So, yeah. Anyway, so we're going to see. I'll let everybody know by this weekend what's going to happen with if we're going to do the party bus. So when Susan's nephew calls Stacy and lets us know, and then I find out from the other family if. Thank you, Tina. And smaller than mine, smaller than your beignet, yes. And I'll let everybody know if we're going to be doing the bus ride, and then I got to map out where we're going to go. Cause that should be a lot of fun. And we're going to do it again in October. So we're going to do 2 of these. Well, I'm going to get a party bus and just rent it out and get it for 4 hours, and there'll be a fee. It'll probably be a little bit expensive, but it will include a lot of stuff. So, I'm probably thinking this one will probably be around $100 a person for 4 hours, but you're all going to get a personal reading. You're also going to get a lot of tours, and you're also going to get to drink, and you're also going to get to do a whole lot of stuff. So we'll see, but that's what I'm kind of thinking. So it's probably going to, if I can do it less, we will. It depends on the cost of the bus. So we have to see. But thank you for the prayers, Daphne. So we'll see. So that's what I'm saying. If I get one that holds 20, we can probably bring the price down. So the more people it holds, the lower the price can be. So that's what I'm hoping. I don't know what they charge for those things these days, but I know they're not cheap. Anyway, so where were we? So back seances. So, that's just some of the things you will experience in seances, and you might not understand. There's also a thing called the voice box that gets formed in seances, and so what that is the ectoplasm will form the voice box, the spirit voice box, and then the loved one's voice will come out of that voice box. It doesn't necessarily come out of the medium's mouth. It'll come out of the voice box. But the ecto can also cover the medium's vocal cords and put out a different voice, but also can form a voice box. And the voice box can move like from a shoulder, can move over. So sometimes you hear voices all over the room because the voice box can move, and because it's within the ectoplasm. And you can I actually got pictures of that, so I can actually show those to you. But I can't do it online because of copyright stuff. But I can show those to you in class, because if I'm teaching a class, I can show it. Can't show it unless I'm teaching. So if you take a class, I can show it to you. But when it's teaching, I can do it for educational purposes. But it's like looks almost like a brain. It's sitting on a shoulder or whatever, but it comes out, like you'll see, like a piece of ecto comes out of an ear, and it'll form like a brain on the shoulder, and then that can also move and form, and it's weird. It just looks different. I don't want to say it's weird, it just looks different. So anyway, that all circles back around. We talk about sensible. That's the kind of stuff Helen Duncan used to do, but Helen Duncan could actually form a spirit right in front of you from the ground up, from the feet all the way up to the full apparition. And so, and again, a lot of that's physical mediumship. There's lots of new things happening these days in the world of mediumship, and I think that it's a lot of new stuff, and I think that one of the challenges in the spirit world today, and a lot of challenges with even the mediums today who are teaching, is that we can't keep up with the spirit world. Is actually surpassing what we can keep up with the work of Sonia Rinaldi and the work of people like Scott, and the work. People just can't keep up anymore with the spirit world. They're just moving so fast, and we're seeing. I'm seeing so much change with energetic stuff, like with those things happening where different phenomena is happening so quick and so rapid and so fast. It's hard for people to understand what's really happening or going on, because the spirit world is moving faster than we can study it, or that we can keep up with it. And so it's truly amazing. And that's why I think by 2050, you'll be able to probably call on your telephone and talk to your loved one. Actually dial them up. Hello. So I really think we're going to get there. I really do. Now, the government might stop it. We'll have to see. But I do think we'll get there. I do think that will be a possible thing to happen, because we've already got the visual. We've already got your loved ones where they will form in front of you, either on cloth or in steam or with ecto. We've got them to form. So between the science and the mediums, we've been able to do that. We've also got their voice between the ecto and between the recordings of like Sonia Rinaldi. They've been able to get your voice. Yes, I think by 2050 you'll be able to dial your dead people on the telephone and talk to them. Yep, I do believe that. I do believe that. And I mean, we're already getting their voice. We're already getting their pictures. We're already getting their growth and development. I mean, if you look at some of Sonia Rinaldi's work, she actually has them like when they died at one age, and then they're growing. You can see how they've grown on the other side. You can actually watch the growth pattern, like the different pictures. See them how they're one age, and they actually, you can see the development. So it's really crazy. It's wild. So I mean, you can see that. I mean, and if you've ever taken her class and watch how she does it, it's not that difficult how she does it. You know, it's really not that difficult how Sonia Rinaldi does it. Yeah, I don't want to live that long neither, Tina. I don't. What I would be? No, I'd be 87. I'd be 89 at that age. I'd be 89. So I doubt I'm going to make it that long too, Tina. But if I do, I know Magni would be happy. But I'd be tired as hell. I wasn't supposed to be here past 60. I'm the only one of my dad's brothers that kind of made it this far, I think, other than his youngest brother. His youngest brother's still around, but that's because of medicine and science. But his other brothers, who I mimic, until they found out what was going on in our family with our hearts, it took years of challenges when they found out that everybody was dying before 60, and then they realized there was an issue, and then they started fixing. They caught my uncle and me. I'm on the Rapatha, so that's helped me tremendously survive it. So we'll see. My cardiologist is like, as long as I take my medicine, I should be around till I'm in my 80s. But I'm going to be demented as hell. I know that because I'm already there. Poor Maggie going to put me in a nursing home. Anyway, we'll be in a nursing home reading people. Hey guys, look, I love you. It's getting late. It's already, been on here a while, an hour and a half. It's late. I got to get up early tomorrow. I got a full day. I will be on tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night is the one last show before we get into the symbology deck. So again, we're in here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Don't miss it. It'll be our last little come together talk. If you send me, if any of y'all want to talk about a certain topic, please send that to me. I'll be glad to touch base on any other topics. Tonight we talked a little bit about seance experiments. Tomorrow I'll find another topic to talk on for you guys. And then the next week we come back, we're going to do symbology. And then I'll probably get into some more teaching after that as well. So I love you guys. Y'all take care. Have fun. Good night, Gwen. Good night, Tina. Good night, Daphne. Good night, Kim, if you're still with me. Good night, anybody else that's still here. Talk to you guys later. And tomorrow night, bring your friends. If you get me